Good morning. Welcome to Reading the Science of Mind in 1 Year. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader at the Center for Spiritual Living Common Ground in Central Maryland. Today is April 29th. I don't know where the month went, but it has come and is going quickly. Good morning, Gail. Good to see you, beloved. Um, so what we do here is we listen to the selection, Reading the Science of Mind in 1 Year, as set forth by the Reverend Dr. Edward Viljoen many, many years ago. And then we share perspectives that come alive in us at the moment. It's not pre-scripted. It's not, I haven't even looked at what the reading is for today, so I'm listening to it right along with you. Clearly, at one point I did because it's me reading it on the recording. So let's find out what we're going to talk about today. Here we go. There we go.
Reading for April 29th, Science of Mind, A Philosophy of Faith, A Way of Life by Ernest Holmes. Reading from page 175, paragraph 2, through page 176, paragraph 3, using inclusive language.
Let us not fool ourselves. But we should not fool ourselves about any demonstration. We know there is a state of consciousness which can heal instantly, but if we do not arrive at this in a moment, we should never admit defeat. Let us not despise our sums in addition because we cannot at the outset extract the cube root. The kind of demonstration we believe in is the kind that can be checked by a physician, if one so desires. If we are treating for the removal of a cancer, we have not made a demonstration until the cancer is gone and the wholeness in the body is evident to anyone. This is not a process of saying peace when there is no peace. A practitioner working for one whose blood pressure is high might say, quote, "Go every week or so and have your blood pressure tested," end quote. If one's blood pressure is high, a demonstration will not have been made until it is reduced to normal. To claim that they are perfectly normal while the blood pressure remains high would be to affront the intelligence of any sane individual. While it is possible that we might have to work on a case for some time, there should be some sign of improvement from the first treatment. If the practitioner admits to themselves that it is going to take a long time, they are losing sight of the fact that they are dealing with the instantaneous now and the ever-present here. Our theory rests entirely upon the supposition that it is impossible to have a true subjective concept without there being a positive, absolute, and equal objective fact. The two will exactly balance. For every action, there is always an opposite and equal reaction. If this is true, and the equal and opposite reaction is automatic, like a reflection which nothing can stop, then the practitioner does not try to create the reflection, they try to embody the image. There cannot be an embodiment of the image without the appreciation of what the image means. A person who is always distraught cannot give a good treatment for peace. So there must not only be the image in the person's mind who is giving the treatment, but there must be an appreciation of what the image means before the image can reflect itself. Otherwise, it is a word and not an embodiment. There is a great difference between the two. The word which carries power is the one which has conviction back of it. Let us not blithely repeat words and say the treatment has gone forth and the healing work accomplished unless we have the evidence that our word has accomplished, quote, "that whereunto it was sent," end quote. Let us not deceive ourselves about our treatments. This matter of self-deception about the truth of a demonstration is the most prolific field for delusion in our system of thought. There is nothing in all our teaching which calls for lying to ourselves or others. The more natural we can be, the more spontaneous we can be, and the more we can discharge the obligation of giving the treatment without taking on the responsibility of healing the condition, of putting the power into the treatment, the more power we shall have. There is nothing in the world more specific than a scientific treatment. But there is nothing that should be so released from outline as a scientific treatment. However, there is no secret in this business of demonstrating. The only secret is the persistent ability to use the law and the demonstration to continue to use it until we prove it.
Hmm. There's a lot going on in this short reading. A lot. Um, the first thing that popped out to me was so there must not only be the image in the person's mind who is giving the treatment, but there must be an appreciation of what the image means before the image can reflect itself. For me, what that speaks to is we have to get really clear. We have to get really honest about what's going on in our mental equivalent. You know, are we treating from a place of wishful thinking, or are we treating from a place of vision, a place of certainty, a place of conviction that is owning everything? Because one of the things that can happen, and I think he speaks to this earlier in the reading when he says, this is not a process of saying peace when there is no peace. That, the treatment might be for peace, and the journey is how to know peace is fully present, even when it's not manifesting in form. Um, and are we clear about that within ourselves as the one giving the treatment? Because everybody can use this tool of treatment, right? You do not have to be a licensed practitioner to do treatment. Treatment can be as simple as there's one, it is expressing as me. Everything that's true about it is true about me. I am grateful. Holy wow. I let go, moving on with my day. That is a very broad stroke spiritual mind treatment, right? And any of us can do that. And we can also drill it down to incredible specificity. The challenge, and I think he brilliantly speaks to this, is to do the treatment for what is desired without getting locked into the condition. Now that can be tough. Um, there is nothing in the world more specific than a scientific treatment, but there is nothing that should be so released from outline as a scientific treatment. Right. So in some ways, he's actually contradicting himself because earlier he talks about the specificity of blood pressure and the specificity of cancer and the specific outline that those are gone. And that here at the end, he says that we should release the specific outline. And for me, that just goes to the beauty of our humanity and our privilege to wrestle with these concepts and to figure them out as we go along. I certainly believe things differently today than I did 20 years ago when I stumbled upon metaphysics. I experienced them differently than I did 10 years ago when I became a minister. We're always growing and evolving. Yes, the word embodiment. Thank you, Gail. And I think that, do we really understand what embodiment means? To so fully grasp something, to so completely know it that it is an active part of our body. Um, our physical body, I've embodied my fingers. My physical body embodied its fingers. They're part of me, they're part of my body. And so the invitation is to embody the spiritual body, the truth of our being that understands our spiritual perfection beyond condition. Um, because when we embody that, when we know it so deeply that it is an unquestioned part of us, that it is an unquestioned experience of us, within us, as us, then we treat from that place. And our treatments from that embodied knowing, that embodied divine self, are very different, in my experience, than treatments that are coming from my head. And I think that's why Holmes goes in so many different circular patterns when he's writing, to keep bringing us back to, okay, look at it this way, look at it this way, look at it this way, until we actually embody the simplicity of one, the profoundness of one, right? Because it's both and. It is so simple and so profound and so complete. I want to close out with this, the very last two sentences. However, there is no secret in this business of demonstrating. The only secret is the persistent ability to use law and demonstration to continue to use it until we prove it. Um, and that's the wrestling match. To keep using it, to stay after it, to keep redefining and refining our own process, to keep being honest and more honest and more honest, and removing those layers of really getting clear, what does the image that I'm holding in my mind mean to me? Not to you. What does it mean to me? Because I'm the one doing the treatment, right? And so, whatever that mental equivalent actually means to me is what will be reflected. And so, I invite you, do the work, sit with contemplation, right? Acknowledge whatever images you hold in your awareness, in your thought processes, and just lovingly, kindly, openly sit with them in a place of inquiry to better understand you, not to change you, not to vilify you, not to chastise you, but to know you, to really know, what do I believe? Then you are at a point of choice. Once you really understand what your mental images mean to you, then you can choose to keep them or to do treatment to heal your spiritual mind. That's why we call them spiritual mind treatments because we're treating our spiritual mind. And so, with that, I'm going to take us into an opportunity to practice sitting in contemplation. It's just a 5-minute practice. And I invite you to just practice being present, to listen to whatever comes. Don't try to make anything happen. Don't try to prevent anything from happening. Just practice being for 5 minutes. I will bring us out of the 5-minute meditation time with a spiritual mind treatment, and then we will close out. Here we go. One breath, one life, one substance, consciousness itself, that is the singular source of creation, moved into manifestation, into demonstration by desire to experience, by desire to express. One consciousness expressing in multiplicity that I call diversity itself, creation. One omnipresence, one omniscience, one omnipotence, everywhere present, expressing as everything we see in this physical realm, everything we hear in this physical realm, everything we experience in this physical realm, and everything that is unseen and unexperienced is this one. Whole, perfect, and complete, self existent, meaning it was not made out of anything else. It simply has always been. It is simultaneously the Alpha and the Omega, and came before either, and in its eternality will outlast, because it has no beginning, it has no end. It simply is. Known by many, many names. It is nameless because it cannot be contained in one name. It is every name and so much more. It is every idea and so much more. It is infinite possibility, simply waiting to be expressed. And it is expressing as my life, as the life I call mine, which is its life, expressing itself as me. That the very makeup of me, the very substance of me, is the substance of creation, is consciousness itself, animated, expressing as. And so all that it is must be fully present right here, traveling in this vehicle that I call my body. The perfection of creation must exist as me because that's all there is. And what is true of me must absolutely be true of every single expression of creation. Each and every expression, whole, perfect, and complete. Each expression individualized as a jewel in Indra's net, of the connectedness of one, the inseparability of one, each gem reflecting the brilliance and the magnificence of each other in this one. Individualized cells in the body of creation. We are portals of it. The agency of expression, of moving consciousness into being by desire, by thought, is what we are. And so I claim and affirm that we are awakening to that truth, that we are awakening to a more clear embodiment that we are it, that it is us expressing. And that every thought we have is creative. And so we are intentional. As humanity, as individualized expressions of it, we open to roll up our spiritual sleeves, to release everything unlike the truth of being, clearing away a mental image of perfection, of wholeness, of completeness that defies human understanding. And yet we recognize it as the truth of our being, the truth of all being. And we manifest from there. We manifest from that embodiment of wholeness, of completion, of perfection, that simply wants more of that in different experiences, in the multiplicity of expressions. So we claim it, we name it, we are it, we activate it, whatever the English language words are that help it make sense to us. We demonstrate the desire of creation's heart within us to expand itself as us and what we desire to experience. And we hold it all sacred. We hold it all holy. Because it is. And we are grateful. Grateful that the doer within the creative process is always doing, because we are always thinking. Whether we're aware of it or not, the movement is happening. Things are moving into manifestation. Law is acting upon desire and making it so every moment of the eternal now. We are praying without ceasing. And so we choose to pray intentionally so that we are no longer praying accidentally. And we are grateful. Grateful beyond what I can articulate. And yet I feel the gratitude in every fiber of my being. Grateful that the word spoken is the word fulfilled. Grateful that there's no waiting period. Grateful for the truth of one. And knowing all these things, I let go. I let go of any and every thought that would in any way resist or restrict or minimize the full experience of the word spoken. I let it all go, knowing it is done, knowing it is complete. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amen. Amen. And so it is. Good day, beloveds.